indie author Christopher M. Tantillo, and I thought I would share with you 5 facts that you might not know about my upcoming poetry collection, Things I Never Got to Tell You. This is volume 1 in a trilogy that releases on May 27th. It'll be available in hardcover, paperback, and ebook upon release. There will be an audiobook that I am narrating myself. I have not started that yet, but that'll be probably coming out towards like the end of summer. But yeah, so the physical and digital versions will be out May 27th. The audiobook will be out later this summer, but now let's talk about some facts. So like all my books, which if you've been following me for a while, you know this. I've said the same thing for all my other publications. This was shelved for like 8 years, right? So after I wrote my 2 fiction books, which are out now, I started collecting this. Back in 2017, I was collecting it, shelved it in 2018, and then dusted it off last year, really. And kind of like essentially kind of we run through it again to release it. So about 60% of this book are poems that were collected up until 2018, and the other 40% are poems that I've written and collected since then, essentially. Fact number 2, I don't know if this might be interesting. This is never actually intended to be released. These poems, they're raw, they're unfiltered. Some of them are very bitter, very angry, very cynical. Some of them are very hopeful. Some of them have a lot of kind of clarity. They have a lot more introspection behind them. Hindsight, being 2020. But yeah, so this originally was never supposed to be released. There were poems that were just for me. Some of them might even feel like journal entries, for better or for worse. But yeah, so you're basically getting almost like my journal, because poetry to me has always been a way for me to deal with my depression and my anxiety and get out those negative emotions so I don't just push them down. And I'm basically sharing that with you guys with very minimal editing. Very minimal editing. These poems range as old as 2009, as recently as earlier this year, 2025. I, of course, had to sneak in a poem. But the thing about this is, because I have older poems and newer poems and poems that I wrote when I intended to back in like around the 2017 era, you have a wide range of not only different styles of poems and versions of poems and probably quality of poems, but also different versions of me. You have poems as old as like me, honestly, kind of like almost in my high school era. I was out of high school back in 2009, but you have poems that were kind of written from that perspective, right? Because I didn't really write that much poetry when I was in high school. I wrote like barely at all, if I'm being honest. So the thing when I did this collection was, there's a lot of poems that probably nowadays I definitely would have written differently. Again, hindsight being 2020. But I really wanted to show a progression of who I was over the years. So a lot of the poems that you're going to get, again, for better or worse, are largely unedited. Of course, I did edit them.